Hey guys, how's it going? Jordan Locke here. We are continuing to cover the Nolan Wells investigation. Today we have a really big update, a massive update brought to you by a YouTuber who, if you have been following this case from day one, you should all be familiar with. Her name is J Megan, otherwise known as Nerdy Pink Panda. She is on TikTok and YouTube as Nerdy Pink Panda, but her YouTube channel is named J Megan. She is an absolute diva and she has been crushing this investigation, finding out little details and bringing them to us. Details every single day that erode and eat away at the story the Nolan Wells friends have put forth. You know, the story that makes no sense, that is full of inconsistencies. Every single day, J Megan is out there finding out little details based on the pictures and evidence that we have, exposing the fact that they've made up a lot of what they've said. Today, the update is concerning a few pictures of Warren's boat on July 4th, the day of the infamous trip to Horn Island. What is this update involving? Red substance on the side of Warren's boat. Yes, so we've all seen the pictures of the boats on July 4th. But there are many details that a lot of us have missed, and one of these details apparently is red substance that looks to be dripping off of the side of the Triton, one of the boats that the group of friends went out with to Horn Island. Now, in full disclosure, it wasn't J Megan who found this detail. It was actually another TikToker who's not quite as big as J Megan, but J Megan found this TikToker and found the video and exposed it to a much wider audience. And this is really recent. This is within the last day or so. So this is a massive update, guys. I want you guys to listen to what J Megan has to say about this mysterious red substance on the side of Warren's boat.
I'm sure by now many of you have seen the picture that I posted yesterday with a mysterious red watered down liquid dripping down the side of the boat. Now, none of us can definitively say what this is, but it's clear to me that some people have never gone fishing in their entire life. Because those people trying to argue and say that the color is off, that it's too light, don't seem to get that fishing boats are specifically coated with something that makes things wash off of it, makes things thin, makes it easy to get things like fish guts out. But fine, if that's not enough for you, I'll keep going, because this TikToker literally over a month ago thought that they spotted this on the side of the boat. Now, they noticed those drips, and full disclosure, they did run it through like a AI cleanup thing, and this was the result of that. And even when you go back and look at the older versions of this video, as the angle changes, you can see those drippy marks. But I even took this picture of Warren on the Triton with his fish just so I can show you what it does look like on the side of the boat when there is a red fluid. To me, it seems pretty obvious what this liquid is, because I've genuinely racked my brain to think of something else it could be. And it just doesn't make sense for like an alcoholic beverage because it's on the outside of the railing. If you look back in the original Ceto video, this person here, who I suspect to be Ike Pyrone, was holding something in his hands and I could never figure out what it was until we got the new pictures. Here you can clearly see a gray something in his hands. Well, going back to this picture of Warren with all of his fish, you'll notice that the Triton has a gray towel normally wrapped around it. Oh, why would they need a towel if they're in the middle of sinking, unless they're trying to clean something up? I also noticed something in this much clearer raw shot of the Ceto picture right here. We see something dark reddish here and like lighter red over here. Now, I have no idea what that is. It could be a towel. It could be a swimsuit cover-up. I did notice, however, it looked like somebody took a tool and like colored right here. What I do know is if you look at the original Ceto pictures and videos, there's nothing seemingly red here. But it does look like, however, is somebody's leg extending way too far into the console here. But again, can't say one way or the other what it is in the background there. Now, fast forwarding to Warren's phone call with the Coast Guard that lasted 21 minutes, starting at 11:13. So that would mean by the time he got off the phone with the Coast Guard, it would be about 11:35. While he's on the phone with the Coast Guard, he and Christine are texting each other. She asked Nolan where Warren's car was, and he says at Jax's house. She says, "Where is that? Can you send me the address from where you guys launched?" He says, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "When was the last time you guys saw him?" 3 p.m. Now, this is not a picture of Jax's residence. He sent her the actual location of the boat launch, not from Jax's house where they all supposedly left that morning. Why would he send her a picture of where they put the boat in the water instead of Jax's house that she's literally specifically asking for? Then he sends her the pin of the house next door to Jax's house. Okay, so you've given the wrong address twice now, and then Warren texts her this: "We launched the boats yesterday evening and left from here this morning." Because wait a fucking minute, y'all.
I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me, and I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck, and well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's and came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went, and with my buddies, and we went, filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water, which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18-foot Palm Beach, and I drove the boat from 4 Bayou Boat Launch to my buddy's grandparents' house.
No wonder he was stuttering all over that story. It was a fucking lie. Because you trying to tell me that the day of all of this, he didn't remember when they put the boats in?
So guys, red substance on the side of the boat. And of course that begs the question, what is the red substance, right? It's not going to be alcohol, because alcohol is not going to make a stain like that stays on the boat, correct? Were they fishing that day? In all of the interviews where Warren speaks about what happened on July 4th, including the 2 interviews with Officer Tatum, not once does Warren say that they were fishing that day, yet these stains look like the remains of fishing. Could it have been fishing from another day? I guess it's possible, but if you recall, Warren said after the July 4th trip, when they brought the boat back home, they cleaned it. So I get the impression that whenever they take the boat out and bring it back, the boat is cleaned. So why would there still be fish guts on the side of the boat from a previous fishing trip? And then when you add that in with what appears to be a towel in someone's hand, now things start looking a little bit suspicious, right? Because you're on the call with Cito saying that your boat is sinking, yet you have a towel, or what appears to be a towel, in your hand. There's this red substance where something is clearly dripping off the side of the boat. What are you cleaning? I thought you were sinking. Why are you cleaning the boat when you're on the call saying that you are sinking? All those kids sounded so frantic in the background on that Cito call. Why is this guy holding what appears to be a gray towel in his hand? What are you cleaning up if you guys are sinking? Was he trying to soak up all the water inside the boat to unsink the boat? Is that what was going on? What exactly was he doing with that towel in his hand? And I thought the boat was sinking. Very clearly in these pictures, we can see that the boat is just fine while Wyatt is on the phone with Cito. You told Cito that the boat is sinking, yet the boat appears to be fine. So what exactly is going on? Why do you have a towel in your hand? Why does there appear to be red substance on the side of the boat when you made no mention of fishing or anything of the sort that day on July 4th? So once again, guys, all of these videos are pointing to a singular fact, and that singular fact is, while we are not certain of what happened yet, one thing is 100% for certain, and that is that Nolan's friends are covering something big up. How far they're covering it up, to what extent the cover-up goes, we don't know yet, and we're hoping that this investigation brings to light those details. It's unfortunate that people have to rely on independent investigators, such as YouTube investigators, TikTok investigators. We shouldn't have to rely on them to find all of these little inaccuracies and inconsistencies, but it appears that we have to, because law enforcement in this situation does not at least appear intent on comprehensively investigating what happened to Nolan Wells, right? Based on all the evidence that we have right from the get-go, based on the fact that Warren's stepmom is a judge in the county, based on the fact that the governor of Mississippi got on TV right when the investigation started and said that he doesn't believe that there's any reason for foul play, as if Nolan Wells was the only person on an island with almost 1,000 people who somehow mysteriously drowned that day. So it's really unfortunate that we have to resort to these types of things where people are having to pick apart pictures and determine whether these pictures are real and whether they're fake. And on the subject of real and fake pictures, why have Nolan's friends uploaded so many pictures that appear to be edited by AI? I ask you once again, if you have nothing to cover up, why are you editing all of these pictures? For example, in the picture that Jay Megan showed us here, why is there a part of this picture that's edited out with some type of blue marker? And we've seen in the previous pictures where people's faces are edited out, details on the boat are edited out. Why would you need to make so many changes to the photos if you are not hiding anything? So this is a point that we've been making all along, guys. What we're saying is that Nolan Wells' death is not, we're not saying it's more important than anybody else's death, but we are emphatically stating that it is not less important than anybody else's death. And it doesn't deserve any less scrutiny and any less attention to detail than any other person's death who would have died mysteriously, especially a young person who had their entire lives ahead of them. So we continue to look for new information, new details. We continue to try and show law enforcement and the officials that are involved in this investigation that we are not going to allow them to sweep Nolan Wells' death under the rug. Okay, this is a young man who died who had his entire life ahead of him. His life was just as valuable as anybody else's life. The fact that he happens to have a friend who has a stepmom who is a judge in the area should not matter. The fact that he has a bit more melanin in his skin should not matter. None of these things should matter. We expect a full and thorough investigation into the mysterious death of Nolan Wells, and we hope by the end of the investigation, law enforcement uncovers what it is that all of Nolan's friends are so intent on covering up with all of these edited pictures and all of these inconsistencies in their stories. And we are going to stay on top of this until the truth comes out. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.